Sabotage, this is Jeff.
This is David.
And we are playing Asura's Laugh. Asura's Wrath. Asura's Laugh is what I said.
I heard Asura's Lair.
Asura's Lair? Asura's Lair.
It's been so long. What was happening?
Yeah, I don't... What is this game again? What?
Why am I hearing Western music?
Because this duel is basically straight out of Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
Not come back.
Morricone style. That's the name, right? Ennio Morricone. Yes. Okay. Yep.
Yasha.
Also, Asura does not have arms. We don't need arms. We're gonna kick him to death.
You've got feet.
Asura, why have you come back?
This is not a super long. Really, I just turn up just a little bit so I can hear.
Yeah.
This one had to be spliced this together from a few recordings, so I did like a high rank recording, and then I had like the cutscene recording, and bonus points if you can see the edit points. You won't be able to see the edit points.
No, I won't.
Because there's already been one.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're better at editing than I am.
Well, that's probably just because I've done it long. That's all right.
Oh,
it's a practice thing. You
went
do
to school for it or something? I don't remember.
You do a thing for 10 years and you're get okay. So there's not a whole lot to say about this particular episode. We're just going to repeatedly kick Yasha and then listen to sweet whistling dueling music.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the second half kicks in, we'll get some more of the percussion.
Nice.
There we go. Naturally, since this is, I don't know if you're aware, but this is an anime, so...
Yes.
Yasha has to be he's our honorable, opponent.
Well, there's always one.
Yeah. And he fights with his mask on because, it would be too OP if he could see.
Oh, is that what he's going for?
Yeah, I think that's what he's going for, the blind swords and the band.
Fennec, look at you. You cannot harm me.
So why is Asura a robot? Okay. Is it just robot arms?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea. We'll be right back with more Asura's Wrath. Anime recommendation for this episode is so does that work for drum roll? Maybe this.
How about this? Add this to it.
Hey! Moribito, Guardian of the Sacred Spirit. This is another very interesting anime. It's fantasy, I guess. What would be the Japanese? I guess. So not like medieval European Tolkien-esque fantasy, but like sometime in some era of Japanese history. So
it's steeped in Japanese mythology?
I'm trying to remember. What was the actual setting of the show?
That's important to know.
I might have been conflating this with a different series. You know what? That doesn't matter. Here's why it's awesome. The storyline is good and character focused.
Weird.
The main character, Balsa, is a spear woman, which also makes her very unusual as far as main characters of any media goes.
Because she doesn't have a sword.
So yeah, main character is not a sword, because that's, the traditional.
And the backup
hero gets
is
swords, backward. Yeah, backups get maybe hammers or maybe axes.
Yeah, it's like if the hero doesn't get a sword, he gets an axe. If he doesn't get an axe, he gets a bow. Like, name one Lord of the Rings character that was known for using a spear.
There's probably one in there.
Well, there probably is in the Silmarillion, but...
Yes, probably. Most definitely. There's probably an entire chapter about the history of the actual spirit, how it was developed as a technology.
More than likely.
But yes, the sword is usually considered to be like the noble knightly weapon, and a main character usually always has it. That's why this is unusual. So one, you have a female protagonist, who is what I would describe a strong female character in the actual sense of that, and not the
Prometheus sense.
Yeah, not the Promethean sense of it.
That movie's so bad.
Has,
all right, continue.
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Moribito.
Moribito. Got it.
So she's, for one, as a main character, she's great because she's competent. This is very important. Okay, it's not a bumbling idiot. So she's got an interesting backstory that comes to light as it goes along, and basically she's just good at her job, which is sort of like a mercenary bodyguard, like a wandering bodyguard kind of thing.
Okay,
she's very very good with her spear. Like the actual combat in the anime is not it's not Asura's Wrath style anime with lots of explosions and yelling and powering up. That's a lot more subdued, more realistic.
So more Zatoichi.
Yeah, so you get the sense that this is a person that is actually really good at using a spear and using it effectively to fight off these other people. The actual spirit, the guardian of the spirit part comes in. There is a fantasy element to it. So there's the actual overall plot does have to do with the spirits of the land, but there's also a lot of political intrigue with kings and queens and successions and stuff like that. Also, it should be noted that the main character is what I would call hypermamiferous, the word that I've used a number of times. This is another reason that she's a good character, because it is not important at all, and at no point in the series is it used for fan service.
Really?
It's just that she happens to have large breasts. And it's not focused on, and there's not like an episode where, like they're in a hot spring or any of that other BS.
Or like she gets hit by something and there's a ridiculous boing sound effect and then gravity stops for a second.
Or like, oh no, she's fighting a dude that has claws and it like rips her clothes. Like, no. She maintains her dignity and her expertise, and it's just that is a part of her rather than being like this sort of like, yeah, so it's not a fan servicey thing, which is another thing that I liked about it. I'm like, how about that? I went through that whole series. I was like, bravo. That might seem like low praise, but it's actually high praise.
Yeah. Can all things considered, every anime with a hypermamiferous character has a hot springs episode, or they just go straight Yoko and she's always in a bikini top.
Yeah, there is that too. Now, I will cop to the hypocrisy. I ain't gonna get it. Look, I'm not on a high horse here. I am on a low horse. Gurren Lagann is the very first recommendation I made.
Very true. Very true.
And you know what? Kill la Kill is really good.
And that's where
that's where fan service is turned into a plot point.
Right.
Much like Gurren Lagann turned powering up, manly fighting spirit into an actual plot point, and integral to the storyline. Kill la Kill does the same thing with that. We're not talking about Kill la Kill, though. This is Moribito. Moribito is much more subtle than that. And now, back to the show. And we're back. Hope you enjoyed whatever I talked about.
I think I know what it is. Oh.
So as mentioned before the break, before the commercial break, Yasha fits the anime stereotype of the honorable blind swordsman. Well, he's not a swordsman at this point, but he fits the trope.
Yes.
So he's like, but to answer your earlier query about robot arms,
yes,
because I have not beaten the game yet, I hope that it's brought up, but I suspect maybe it's not. Maybe it's not going to be addressed.
That'd be, you know what? I hope it's not. Honestly. Ooh, guitar.
So in order to get the battle points for an S ranking, you really do have to do a lot of air combos. So I've learned from like reading different guides and stuff. This one was particularly annoying just because it's not. Yeah, you really have to just kind of get a lot of points. And air combos do more than much more than ground combos. I still want to have like some ground combos in there, just to, variety. But really, you're just kind of hindering yourself if you do any ground combos. Sadly.
Yeah, that sounds unfortunate. All right.
You are only doing...
I like that ship settling noise for the kick.
Naturally.
And the
And
slap.
then a slap.
Enough. We are bringing salvation to Gaia. There is nothing you can do. As priestess, Mithra has dedicated herself to the salvation of our world. You should be proud.
Uh-oh, you mentioned Mithra. Burst gauge
Be proud
starts flowing.
of Mithra's suffering.
Yes, and I will say it again.
No, don't do
Your
that.
daughter is devoted to the cause in order to save
It's,
the world.
it's on fire on the corner there.
You think you are?
God.
That's a great
though.
line.
What?
They're always surprised when he gets wrathful. Crack. Actually, this is how you win the fight. You do a little bit of damage to his mask. At this point, that's considered an absolute victory. I also enjoy the nondescript apocalyptic Dragon Ball Z style background you're fighting in.
Is there going to be a single drop of blood? No? Nothing? Okay.
No,
You
no,
are as ugly as ever.
just some smack
As is your
talk.
temper. But before the cause,
He's a boat.
Yep, there's more boat sounds.
it is meaningless.
Did our hero just get bisected?
Yes. So, Asura got killed again.
Do not return again.
Get extra dramatic piano music for this one. Now,
He's in the lava.
but it wasn't like black and white sketchy, so you know it's not permanent.
Yeah, he didn't go pencil
It's
sketch.
only,
so
it's only pencil sketch means
Witness the
permanent.
salvation of the world from the depths of Naraka.
Now, this is kind of a weird choice as far as plot goes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, okay, we kind of started at this point. We died, we came back. All right, I guess we'll do it again. Sure. This is why before I started, I mentioned that, yeah, our main character's gonna die. And, like, that's not even a spoiler. 'Cause he kind of bounces back and forth a little bit, death and life.
I'm getting the impression he's going to die a lot. Like
See,
Marvel superhero a lot.
I don't know how. I don't know if it's bad as comic books, but so we're getting an actual credit scroll here, or credit crawl, I suppose,
Yeah.
because this is the end of an arc. I think there's 3 different arcs in the story.
Oh, hey, you got your hands back.
Well, you know, I guess he's dead. They threw him a bone. I don't know how that works. But then again, he can, you know, get 6 arms if he's sufficiently angered. So, you know,
true.
so it goes. So the credit crawls are in between the parts. They're just called parts, part 1, 2, and 3, etc., etc. I think part 1 was called. I think actually just tell us. Yes, part 1, suffering. And I'm pretty sure that Japanese character just means end or terminus or something.
It doesn't mean suffering.
I
Sass.
think it means hey, got some sass going on here. So even after doing all those air combos, wasn't quite enough for us. But there was some sass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't read Japanese, but I do watch AGDQ. And at the end of that Kaizo Mario level, I'm pretty sure that looked like the same thing, same character or whatever. By the way, AGDQ.
Yes.
Just go watch that.
Just watch all of
it. Just go watch all of it.
Yeah.
Some highlights like the Tetris Grandmaster exhibition. Come to mind.
Float Runner and Big Rigs are fantastic. All the
Yes.
entire bad games, the awful games block is fantastic. Grand Theft Auto Vice City is really good.
Yeah, Vice City was actually really good. It's one of the ones that I was not like looking forward to watching, but I was just like, I'll give it a shot. Like, oh, yep, it's interesting.
Yep.
Same thing with Dark Forces 2 in the FPS block. So Blood, Duke Nukem, Quake 2, and Dark Forces 2 were all in the FPS block.
I didn't see that. I need to watch that
very
block.
entertaining. That thing was... Dark Forces 2 is crazy. It is crazy fast. Because apparently in that game you get a force speed ability, because I never actually played the Dark Forces games. And in Dark Forces 2, the force speed ability, it doesn't do a slow motion effect for the enemies. It just speeds you up. so it requires like a lot of skill in order to use it effectively, because you're just zooming around.
That's an awesome picture, by the by.
Yes, that is very good. Our little intermediate
500 years later again.
Yeah, the first death was 10,000, and this time we'll only go 500 in the future. Next time we'll actually get Asura out of Naraka again, so see if he can reconnect with his mind a little bit more. Maybe he could be a little bit more focused. There was a lot of sort of stumbling around and punching dudes the size of moons, but there wasn't a whole lot of... They
deserved it, to be fair.
There wasn't a whole lot of forward momentum on the revenge story so much.
Well, there would have been if Yasha hadn't cut him in half.
Yeah, that did happen. It's good times. Good times.
With a slap.
So if you enjoyed what we've been doing here, and you would like to support us, you feel free to donate or contribute to our Patreon. There's a link up there. It's a monthly thing. You give a certain amount of money each month to us, and then we can do this full time, and that'd be great.
Yeah, and even if you just want to give us a buck, that's cool.
Yep, that'd be neat too. All right, I think I successfully condensed the Patreon pitch down.
It's not the long, rambling 9-minute thing it normally is.
Yeah, this is the thing I usually get annoyed with podcasts and stuff as they go on and get more popular and more ads are added in. There's always like 15 minutes at the end where it's housekeeping, like, hey, join our Facebook group, follow us, like us, subscribe, go to our Patreon, go to the website and sign up for our live show coming up, or we have books coming out, you should get those, or special thanks to our special guests, and
special thanks to all these people who shared us on Twitter. Let's read their names like that matters.
That being said, if you want to share us on Twitter, we will totally read your names.
We will. We were not above that.
I mean, I'm complaining, but you know,
those things are effective.
I will cop to that hypocrisy. So, like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, that's just felt dirty.
I cringed a little when you said that.
I feel like there's like a metal taste in my mouth. I think I might be having a stroke.
Is it the stroke, or are you just coughing up blood now because you've sinned against God?
You know what? I think it might be a combination.
A blood stroke.
Yeah, it's a blood stroke. My poor decisions have stacked numerous bad conditions on top of me. It's like I walked into a Marlboro's bad breath. My status bar is absolutely jumping with status effect icons.
14 icons, 3 of which you didn't know existed.
And for some reason, I'm spinning in place, which obviously means I'm going to attack my allies in the next turn.
Or just punch yourself in the face with a sword.
Yes, this is entirely possible. Which is why, in Final Fantasy VIII, which is the best Final Fantasy, the blind status effect doesn't do anything to Squall, because he always has 255 accuracy with his gunblade.
Which is ridiculous and awesome.
Yes, his perfect accuracy never misses.
I still don't know if I agree Final Fantasy VIII is the best, but...
Final Fantasy VI is the best, but Final Fantasy VIII is the best. So you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. So where does Final Fantasy VII fit in all that?
I don't know. You know, it would be great, since I've only played through the game, I think, twice, maybe? but it was in the PC, like the very first version of the PC.
Oh, wow.
Since at the time, it didn't actually, me and my brother didn't have a PlayStation. So it's like, oh, sweet, Final Fantasy 7 on PC.
Unlike
yes, please.
9 CDs or something.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what happened to 4, 5, and 6, because at that point it was very confusing, but but sure, let's go for it.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a big gap between Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 7, but actually Final Fantasy 3/6 was right before Final Fantasy.
It was always weird
confusing.
when I saw Final Fantasy 3 and then I saw Amano's artwork of Terra next to Final Fantasy 6. And I was like, that's not I just
like, what?
What? Are there 2 of these? Huh?
And the answer is yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of. Yeah.